Okay, so hi everyone. I hope that all of you are doing really great and a warm welcome to Android Study Jam session 5. So in this session we will be learning about navigation using our fragments and then we will be also being introduced to Jetpack libraries and a lot of other stuffs like bottom navigation and all that things. So today's session is going to be really super cool. So just stay till end. And one more thing, there are two mega announcement which we are having today. So stay till end because the announcements are related to your gifts and prizes and all that stuff. So just stay till the end, right? So and I would be trying to wrap up the session a bit faster today because many of you are having exams. So I would try to do it fast, right? So in today's objective, what we are having is first is introduction to fragments. So I will be introducing you what are fragments, what are its uses, what are the life cycles and all the stuffs. So after introduction to fragments, there are implementation of navigation graph and navigation component. Like to use navigation means to use fragments, we especially use navigation graph and component, which comes under the Jetpack library. Okay, and after that I will be also introducing you about view model, like what is view model and what is its use specially. Okay, and at the last I will be like showing you implementation of bottom navigation bar in your app, and it is a cool stuff. Like the apps you use, YouTube or Instagram, they all have a bottom navigation and it's a top level navigation, so it is like going to be super cool, right? So let's get started without wasting any time. So first is introduction to fragments, right? So what is a fragment basically? So fragment is basically you can say it like a reusable piece of code which we use, and we can use it in many times, like multiple times in different activities. So first thing is that fragment is always used inside an activity. Activity is the screen, and also fragment is also treated as a screen, but the thing is it is inside an activity, and fragment maintains its different life cycle other than the activity. Like it doesn't depends on the life cycle of the activity. Okay, so that is about fragments. Like if I tell you like the apps you use like YouTube, so all they have a bottom navigation bar, and there are like search bar for your profile section and all. So you can swipe the screens like changing into subscription or swiping the videos. So all that thing is inside the fragment part. Okay, then like in WhatsApp, like you have tab bar in which you can slide or change into the status. So the changing part, the upper part remains constant, the thing like the chat list and the status that changes. So that is basically a fragment part. So also it is like treated as a screen itself, like when we will be building it, so it is like going to be shown as a screen itself. So that is a fragment. So like anyone having any doubt like about the fragment, so you can ask. Okay, so I guess no one having any doubt. So next is the fragment lifecycle. So as I told you, like activities means fragment has a different life cycle, which is maintained by itself, other irrespective of the activities life cycle. So in fragment life cycle, if you see in this side, we have the activities life cycle. Okay, and in this side we have the fragment life cycle. So in when a fragment starts, so the first thing works is on attach. Now on attach means basically as I told you, like in activities we basically calls the fragment. So the on attach means we are calling the fragment to attach it in the activity part. So that is the thing when on attach works actually. Okay, so after this on attach, the thing that comes is on create. So on create is basically like you can treat it as a main function. Like in Kotlin code, like or in any other programming languages, we have a main function which runs first, right? So that is like the on create itself, and it is almost similar to this one, to this on create of the activities lifecycle, which was already told you in the previous sessions, right? So this one is on create. Now in this state, the fragment gets initialized, but the view has not been created yet. So that is the on create part. So after this on create, what comes is on create view. So in this one, the on create view method, what happens is like the layout gets inflated, like the layout is being initialized, and it is not yet visible to the users, but the layout only gets inflated of the fragment. Okay, so that is the on create view. So the on create view comes after this on create. Okay, so after this on create view, the most important thing, that is the on view created, and we mostly use these two things. So on view created means like you are having different widgets in your fragment, like text view, or you can say buttons, all these things. So all these things get initialized, means you can initialize them on inside this method on view created. In the previous methods you can't initialize them, so you have to initialize the widgets and all the things inside this on view created, because in this method it typically binds all the widgets itself by using view binding. Okay, so after this on view created, you can see that this one more thing, this is the same on activity created or on view created, this is the same thing. Okay, so after this one, what comes is on start. Now in this on start, what happens is the fragment enters into the started state, means all the things are now ready. Now it is ready to start itself. Okay, so yeah, so after this on start, what happens is on resume opens up, means on resume function method is called, and in this method what happens is it comes into the focus part. Now user can interact or do anything with the fragment, like user can input any text inside it, user can click on buttons, and all these things happens after this on resume. You can also see in this one that after this on resume, the fragment is now active, and user can navigate backward or remove or replace the fragment inside these activities. Then fragment is added to the backstack. Okay, so this one is the function after the on resume. So after this on resume, what comes is on pause. Okay, now in this on pause, what happens is, like as mentioned earlier, like the WhatsApp DP told by Satyajit Bhaiya. So like that only, like on pause happens is like you can see the view, but you can't interact with that view. Like the screen is visible to us, like when we open someone's DP in WhatsApp, the screen is visible, but we can't like actually interact with the screen that is beside it. Come the dialog comes up, but we can't actually access to the uh, backstack screen. Okay, so that is the thing when on pause is called, and when the on pause is called, it again goes to on start, means after on pause it goes into the on start. You can also see that it is written, and after that thing comes is on stop. Okay, someone is having question, let me see it. Okay, a little bit slow. Okay, okay, I'm trying to do that. Okay, so this much is clear, I think, that on resume. So on pause is basically, which is previously mentioned by Satyajit Bhaiya, the WhatsApp DP part. Like when someone opens a WhatsApp DP, then the chat listing screen, like the previous chat screen, goes beside, and the dialog pop-ups for the DP. Okay, so on that case, the on pause actually occurs. The method is being called. So means we can't interact with the that is the screen which has gone in the backstack, but we can interact with the WhatsApp DB part, right? So that is the thing when on pause works. And after this on pause method, like if the fragment enter into the on pause method, then after this on pause, what happens is it goes again into this on start. Okay, means it enters into the started state after this on pause. Like it again starts, and then the it is into the focusable part when on resume is called. And after that on pause is on stop method. So in this on stop method, what happens is like it enters again into the created state. So let us try to understand this thing. Like if you have a mobile phone and its orientation is in portrait mode. Okay, and now you want to rotate its orientation to landscape mode, like you rotated your phone. Okay, so at that point what happens is on stop method is called, and once it is called, it happens the on stop method, as I told, that after this on stop method, it again goes into the created state. Means the whole thing runs again, like from this on stop, it goes into this created state. Okay, like you changed the mobile phone layout, and all the things reinitializes, and all the things runs again. And this part is also a bit in our app architecture that I will be explaining you with view model. Okay, so at that point you will be like getting it more in a clear way. So after this on stop, the thing that comes is on destroy view. So in this on destroy view, what happens is like the fragment view gets destroyed, but the object of our fragment, which we initialized and we created, that thing remains there. Okay, so that is the point when on destroy view method works. And at the last, there is on destroy, and this thing means the whole fragment destroys up. And in the diagram you can see the after this on destroy there is on detach. So in on detach what happens is like the fragment is totally detached from our activity. Like as I mentioned that fragment is always called inside an activity using a container. So from the container it is being detached, like when on detach is called. Like if you are swiping through bottom navigation bar from one tab to other, like if you are taking an example of WhatsApp, like if you are changing from chats to status, so at that case on detach is works, and the whole fragment gets replaced actually. Okay, so that is the basic life cycle of a fragment and how the fragment works. Now, as we will be working in the live coding part, so it will be more clear to you. Okay. So after this thing, what comes is advantages of fragments. Okay. Now, fragments has various advantages, and so especially developers use this fragments in app development. Okay. So let us see like what are the advantages. So first advantage that you can see is we can navigate between screens in a sophisticated manner, like you are using WhatsApp, like because of its UI. Like there are other applications also which are created, but because of its UI compatibility, we doesn't like those apps. Like we are comfortable with WhatsApp because of its tab navigation. Okay, so that is the part. Like it using fragments, we can create more user enhanced apps. Okay, so that is the thing, such as like tab bars, bottom navigation, that are the benefits of using fragments. Then after that, like if you are creating an app for multiple screens, like you want to do it with the TV, the Android app for TV, then for tablet, for that case what happens is like you are having multiple fragments, like you are using multiple fragments in a screen, so it is like easy to maintain in later part, like when you will be working with that. So in that case fragments gives an advantage to us to gives an adaptive layout across multiple screen sizes. Okay, and after that one, the most important thing is the same fragment can be used in different activities. Like as I told you, like fragments are specially used inside an activity, right? So like if you have created two activities, okay, and you are having fragments as a screen, now once you create a fragment you can simply use it in other activities too, like without rewriting. But if you are using activity instead of fragment, then what you have to do is like if you want to reuse, then you have to create it again. And one most beneficial thing that fragments gives is it takes a very less memory than an activity. Like activity takes up more memory than a fragment. Okay, so that is also the part. So we preferably use two or three activities, and rest of the screens are mostly fragments itself. So I think now it is clear. So now, like if you are having any doubt, like you can ask me about the fragments.
But yeah, in case
Yeah,
of
yeah.
activity, we have something like if the phone runs out of memory, then it will be self-destroyed. In case of fragments, it's there or not.
No, it will be self-destroyed.
Okay, it wasn't mentioned in the flowchart, so I was a bit confused.
Okay, okay. Okay, so any other doubt? I don't guess. So next is navigation components. Okay. So navigation components, like we are using fragments, right? So to navigate between the fragments, there are intents also. Like previously, you have learned about intents to navigate from one screen to other in activities. Okay, in previous session. But to navigate between fragments, there is a cool feature that is navigation component and nav graph. And it is a part of Jetpack library, which provides you many cool stuffs. So that one, let us just try to understand like what is Jetpack libraries. So Jetpack is an Android library collection of libraries in which there are different classes and architectural components the navigation, these things are inside this Jetpack library. So we simply can use Jetpack libraries to implement cool stuffs like architectural component, like view model, then this navigational component, like which we will be implementing. Okay, so that is a bit about the Jetpack libraries. Like what is it? Now in this navigational component, we have a navigation graph. Okay, so navigation graph is nothing like a flow chart itself. So like when we have multiple screens and we like multiple fragment screens and we want to navigate between them. Okay, so now previously when you used intent, so what happened is like you can't visualize it. Like when you are moving from one screen to other, you are not able to visualize like how your screen will be navigating. But if you are using fragments and if you are using navgraph, you can simply visualize. Like in this one, you can see that you are able to visualize like from this screen it is going to this one, then from this screen it is going to this one. So you can visualize it. And in complex app, when the app becomes very large, so in that case you can simply visualize how the navigation is going to be. So that is the benefit of using a navigation graph. Okay, so this is written here itself. And this and one more thing, like navigation graph is basically used for fragments only. You can't use activities for navigation graph. Okay, and one more thing is that, as I told you, like fragments are used in activities, like right. So to do that thing, what we have is nav host from this navigational component. So nav host is like a container, you can say like that. And in that container we can simply swipe the fragments using this navigation graph. Like if you take an example of WhatsApp. Okay, so the top part, like where the logo is there, WhatsApp logo, then the search button, and after that there are tab bar, and after that thing what comes is your chat list, that is our home, right? So the container part is the chat list part, means the whole part is the inside the container. Now when you swipe it to the status, what happens is rest of the things remains, only the container, means inside the container the thing we have, that is only replaced. So that is the nav host, especially when we use navigational components. Okay, so now we will be like doing the live demo of this one. So if anyone having any doubt regarding this navigation components and fragments, you can ask. So I guess no one is having any doubt. So so now just everyone open your Android Studio with me, because we will do it together, right? So first, what you have to do is create a new project. Okay. So in this new project, some things that I will mention you. So take it in important way. So first, we will select an empty activity, then click on next. Okay. Now here the name will come out. The name I am giving it as navigation app. Okay, so so that you can understand that one. And after this one is the package name. This one I am keeping it default one. Then location, language, keep it Kotlin, and this one, the minimum SDK, keep it 21 only. One more thing is that don't take this one, because if you take this one, what will happen is you won't be allowed to use the Jetpack libraries, which I mentioned. The navigation components and view model are part of Jetpack libraries. So don't tick on this. Okay, untick this one if it is ticked by default, because here it is written that you will be prevented from using the latest play service Jetpack library. So don't tick on this one. Okay, and after this one, simply click on finish. So now it will open up your Android Studio. So just wait till it builds up. And if anyone having doubt, just you can tell me.
Bhaiya, why we are not using navigation activity?
Means I didn't get you.
We are working on nav bar, but we are using empty activity, not navigation activity.
No, see, you can use navigation activity, but working with empty activity, you will get a clear understanding. Like if you use the navigation activity, then a boilerplate will come in front of you, right? So instead of that, if you write on your own, so it will be a clear visualization like how we write actually. And in boilerplate there are many codes which are unused, so in that case we use always an empty activity. Okay, in creating any app. Now the build is now finished. Okay, so first thing, the thing that has came is the activity file, main activity file, and the XML code. Okay, so now what you have to do is, if you so first thing is we will be creating a fragment, right? So our starting would be with fragment. So let us see like how to create a fragment. Like previously in the previous session you have seen like how to create activities. So to create fragment, you come in this Java folder, and inside this one there's the package name. Come into this one. Now in this one, simply right click and then menu, and then the menu will come in front of you. So now to create an activity, you have gone once you have went to this activity, and then you have selected empty activity, right, in the previous session. But to create a fragment, simply go to the fragment and select blank fragment. And once you click on that one, the pop-up will come in front of you to add the fragment's name. So to add the fragment name, I am giving it home, so it would be easy to understand. So I'm keeping it as home fragment. Okay, so after the giving the name, simply click on finish. Now once you click on finish, the boilerplate will come in front of you. Now see, there are many things which are unnecessary in this boilerplate, so we will be removing that one also. But let us just to work with the XML code. Let me remove all these things and let me show you from here. Okay, so now to access the fragment, what you have to do is to access the fragment coding part, that is the Kotlin file. You come inside this Java, then the package name, and there is the home.kotlin file. To access the this one, you go means come here. Okay, and to access the layout part, the XML part, what you have to do is come in this layouts where the activities are stored. Go there, you will see that fragment home is there, like the name you give, that will be there. Okay, and click on that to open the XML code. Now you can see like this is the part of a screen itself. Okay, now first of all there is a frame layout, and inside that there is a text view. So I will remove this one first, and I will change this frame layout to constraint layout. Okay, so change this one to constraint layout. So now you can use things with constraint inside this one. Okay, so now what I thought is I would be adding two buttons in this fragment through which you can navigate to other pages, means to other fragments. So to add two buttons, first I will write here button. Just tell me one thing, like anyone of you are facing any problem like creating any fragment, so you can tell it. No one is facing any problem. So yeah, so in the button, so first of all the layout width, I will give it 0 dp.
Bhaiya, please minimize the project part so we can see the whole code.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so the layout width is 0 dp, and layout height I would give it 62 dp. Then after this one, I will give the text. So in the text, I will give it page 1. And the next thing that I would like to give is text color is given. So text size. So text size, I would give it 18 sp. And these things like this widgets are already being explained to you. So I don't think that you would be having any problem in this one. So the next thing that I would give is, okay, so the next I would like to give the constraints. So constraint you can give it through here also, like in the beginning sessions, what you learned is going through this one, right? But when you work in big projects, what you do is more preferable way is using this code part, XML code part. So I would give it through this only. Okay, so first I will give constraint start to start. I will give it parent. So you can see that it has constraint to the start. And after this one, I would give constraint end to end, and I will give it parent. So now you can see that this thing has expanded like the whole width. Okay, So in constraint layout, to give the match parent, we give 0 dp so that it would like fit the whole constraint part. Okay, but instead here, if you have given like match parent, then what would happen is you can't give margin. Okay, so that is not like recommended. So give it 0 dp so you can add the margins also later part. And one more thing, that is the color I would change of the button. So I will write background tint, and the color I would like to give is this one. So it is looking good. And one more constraint I will give to this top. So I will write constraint top to top. This one I would give it parent, so it will be constraint at the top, right? And the thing I left is id, so I will give this id page 1, means the button id I have given it page 1. Okay, now see, this one is showing, like if you go to this design, you can see the problem is here, and this was already told to you like how to fix it. So I won't be going in that part today. Like the app would run with this one, but preferably don't keep the warnings, just remove them like how you were showed previously. Because of time shortage, I am not removing them today. Okay, so now we have to add another button, right? And one more thing, that is margin I told you. So I would give margin start 16 dp and margin end I would give it 16 dp. So now it has been it is having space from both the sides, which is the margin. Okay, now I would copy this whole button and I would paste it, because we are having two buttons. Now first we have to change the id page 2. I will change this text also to page 2, and I would change color. All we have to remove this one, the constraint top. Okay, I will remove this one, and now I would add a constraint bottom to this button. So I would write constraint bottom to bottom, and I would give it parent. So now you can see that it has aligned itself at the bottom. Okay, so now what I want is that I want these two buttons to appear at the center of the screen. So to do that thing, what we have is horizontal bias and all these things. So for doing it, we will go in this design part. Then you can see that in the component tree we had two things, page 1 and page 2, that are the two buttons, right? So select both of them at a time by pressing control and then right click on this one. So now you can see that there are options will open in front of you. So you have to go to this chain section. So in this chain there are two chains, that one is horizontal and the second one is vertical. Like if you want to center them horizontally, so you can use horizontal chain. And if you want to chain it vertically, like if you want to center them in vertical manner, so select vertical chain. So I will be selecting vertical chain. So now you can see that all these two buttons are having equal space from all the sides, means in the vertical manner. Okay, so now what I want is I want to remove this space. I want this to come one after the other. So again right click on this two, then again go to this chain, and then you would now see that here is a vertical chain style. Previously that was create a vertical chain, but now once you have created, it is showing you to vertical chain style. Now there are three different options. Now first one is spread. Spread means like the thing you are seeing in this one. Then after that there is spread inside. This one means that it will take the whole space between them and it will like spread out. And the last one is packed. The packed means it will come one after the other. So I would select the packed one. So once I select it, you can see that both has came at the center of the screen. So you can use this one to center many things at a time in the screen. And now if you come in this split part in the code, you can see there is a horizontal bias and all these things, right? So the two things are now centered. So we have successfully created our fragment. That is our first fragment, right? So now what we want is, okay, one more thing that I skipped out is adding the view binding, right? Once we create a project, we always add a view binding at the beginning. So let me add the view binding. So I would go to the Gradle script and now select the build.gradle app level. And here we have to write the code for build Gradle, right? So after this Kotlin options, write this code, that is build features and view binding equals to true. This will enable the view binding as mentioned earlier sessions. So after writing this one, just sync it. So the thing must be applied to our project, right? So it is now synced and the thing has now came, right? So we can use the view binding itself. Now, one thing is, if you come in this layout, then in the main activity. Now here, what happens is your fragment is created, that is a home fragment, but we can't see it, right? We have to implement the container, as I told you, like to work with fragments, we have the fragment nav host, right? So to do that, first what we have to do is we have to implement the navigational component in our app. Now, to implement navigational component, what we have to do is there are several dependencies for them. So we have to add them in our project. Now, if you come in this Gradle part, you can see there is no dependencies for navigation. So we have to add the navigation dependencies. So instead of writing them here, you can use another method also. Like go in this project section in the resource manager, and in this resource manager you can see there are different options here at the top, and there is a navigation option. Now many of you won't be getting that one, so it is now in this one, the menu option. There is a show hidden tabs menu. Click on that one, you would get it here if it is not present here. Okay, so click on this navigation, and after you click on it, you would be seeing that it is showing no navigation available because we have not created any navigation component, right? So to add one, simply click on this plus button that is present at the top left corner. Click on this one and it would show you navigation resource file, right? So click on this navigation resource file, and now it will open a pop-up for giving the name of the file. So one thing I would like to mention, you don't give this same name, that is the directory name. Don't give it same, like don't give it navigation. Use different name. I would like to give app navigation. Okay, app navigation. And once you have given the name, and one more thing, don't use any space. Use this one. Okay. And once you have given this name, click on OK. So once you do this one, you will see that it will pop up with dependencies adding option. So the add this project dependency, this will come, and here are all the dependencies that I was telling you, like which you require to implement the navigation. So simply click on this OK, and it will you can see that Gradle will start syncing out. And once it is done, you can see that it has been added. Like you can see this one, the Android X navigation fragment, this one is being added, and many other things are also added here. Okay, so instead of doing manually, you can do like this way also, that I have showed you. Now what is the thing is navigation, this one, right? So let me close this one. Yeah, so now this is the part of the navigation graph. So if you come in the project section, and let me close the other things. So now if you come in this project section, inside this resource, okay, inside this resource, you would see that a new folder has been created of navigation. Now, if you open this one, you would see this one, app navigation.xml code. Now, this is the code for this one, the thing that you are seeing. And this one is the navigation graph, which we showed you in the PPT. So now here, there is the options to add different fragments, and you can use the graph to navigate between them, right? So first thing that you have to do is you have to import this fragment that you have created, right? So to import it, simply click on this plus button. Here is a Android symbol with a plus icon. So click on that, and once you click on this one, what you can see is this option will come in front of you, that is fragment home that we have created. So to import it, simply click on this one, and once you click, it will come in front of you, right? And you can like move it in anywhere like as you want. So let me minimize this one. Okay,
Whether can you go a bit slower? Navigation dependency is still building.
okay. So once it's finished up, tell me, right? so I can
Bhaiya, it's
continue.
taking its time. Like it's showing loading, it's not opening yet.
It's not opening.
Which one?
That navigation.
Navigation XML.
Uh, One thing I mentioned, don't give the same name, navigation, change it.
No,
Means
we have
if
given the
you
same name that you have given, app navigation, and it's
you have not used the space, right?
No, we have given underscore.
Still it is not loading.
it's showing loading, but it's not opening like the way yours is.
Okay, try to delete that one. Go to the project. Okay, and in the navigation folder, delete the whole navigation folder and try to do it again. Okay, and see that if it works. And tell me then. Is it coming now?
It's still loading. Yeah, it's coming. So it says click plus to add destination. Can you repeat what we
Yeah,
will do
yeah.
after that?
Yeah. You click on OK and it will add all the dependencies that are required for the navigation component. Okay.
No, I have done that. It says click plus to add a destination.
Okay, this one, no. If you click on this one, so here the option will come from this for this home, like the fragment you created. So click on that one and it will come in here.
Yeah, it's good.
It's coming now.
Yeah.
Okay. So now this is the fragment that we have imported in here. Okay. Now to do this thing, like what I told is, if you just wait. Yeah. So if you come in this project and then if you open this main activity, so here we have to import the fragment, right? Like we have to import the container nav host so that we can place our fragment. So first go in this XML code and delete the text view, that is the boilerplate code. And after that thing, to add the nav host, you go different things, that is nav host is also there, nav host fragment. Okay. So you would be able to see this one and simply drag and drop this one in this activity file. Okay, so it will import the nav host, and once you do that one, what will happen is it will ask for you to create the navigation graph, means to add the navigation graph. Now if you have not created the navigation graph and if you are trying to import this one, so it won't work. So first create the navigation graph and then only try to import that one. Okay, so now you can see that app navigation is coming here, so select that one, and once you select, you can see this one in the preview, and then simply click on OK. And now the thing happens is you can see that in your main activity, that is the activity XML file, the fragment has appeared, right? So which I was telling, like it act as a container. So if you split it now, you can see that this is the code, which is the fragment container view. Okay, so that is the nav host actually. Now it has a default ID given, that is fragment container view, and we need this ID in later part, so I would be explaining when we will be needing it. So one thing that you have to change it here is, you can see the layout width and height, it is given fixed like 409 dp and 729 dp. So we don't generally keep this thing fixed because in different phones have different screen sizes, right? So if we give it fixed size, then it won't work actually. So we simply use match parent to match the whole thing. Okay, so I would give it match parent, and layout height also I would give it match parent, right? So now you can see the error has gone also. And now give the constraint, so I would constrain it from all the four sides. Simply you can use the code also here to give the constraint. I am using this one. Okay, constraint end to end of, give it parent, so it will be done. So now the constraint is done, and now if you come, means if you can run this app, so I would change this one to default one, and if you run this app, so you would be seeing like it will open up this one. So let it finish the Gradle build. Every one of you have imported this one, the container view. Just confirm once. Like if you can see this one, the fragment in your activity.
Yes, we are.
Okay. So now it is installing. So you can see that this thing is coming, right? The page 1 and page 2, but clicking on this button, nothing happens because we have not yet done the functions for these buttons, right? One thing that you can, if you have noticed, I don't know, that there is a app bar at the top showing navigation app. Now I would like to show you that how to remove this app bar also. And if you you can't see this one in this code, means in the XML code, that in the design you can't see this, right? So to see this one, you can do one thing, that is click on this I button that is present, and here you have to click on this one, show system UI. So it would show you the whole thing, like as it will appear in your apps when it runs, right? So you can see this one. And the thing that I was telling is to remove this one, this top bar. What we have to do is go to the projects, and inside that, in the resource folder, there are one thing that is values. Okay, now inside this values there is a folder themes. Now in this themes folder there are two different themes. One is for the dark and one is light version. First one is the light version theme. So simply to remove this one, change this one. Now you can see that parent theme dot material components dot day night dark action bar, right? So simply change this one to no action bar, so it would remove this one. Okay, and in the night theme also change this one to no action bar, change it to no action bar. And now if you come into the main activity, you can see that it has gone. Okay, so this is the code, like you have to change it to remove this one top bar. And if I run it again, you would see that this one will go. So I would click on terminate, and you can see that it has gone, the app bar has gone. Okay, now the thing that we are going to do is importing, means creating other fragments for page 1 and page 2. Like as I told you, like when I will be clicking on this page 1, I want to move to another fragment, and when I click on page 2, I want to move to a different fragment, right? So first let us create the fragments so that we can work. So to create a fragment, the first method that I showed you is this one, that is going into the Java, then right clicking here, right? So there is a different method to create a fragment using the navigation graph one. So first I would open the navigation graph, this one. Okay, let me minimize this one a bit, this one. Okay, so to create a fragment, you can use here also, means you can come here and then simply click on this one, the one you have to click to import the fragment. Click on that one, and simply you would get a like a button to add a new destination. This new destination means the fragment. Okay, click on this create new destination, and then this one will pop up to adding a fragment. Select the blank fragment and then click on next. Now the same thing will come, the fragment's name. So simply change this fragment's name, like I would give it page 1, because the button was also page 1, right? So I would give it page 1, then source language Kotlin, and click on finish. So you can see that this fragment comes here, right? And if you go in the project section, you can see that page 1 .kotlin file is created in the same place where we created our home part. And in the layouts also, the same thing has been added, fragment page 1 XML file. So in the same manner, just create another fragment for the second button. So I would go here, create a new destination, the same thing. Select the blank fragment, click on next, change this to page 2, click on finish. Now other fragment has appeared in front of you, so drag it here so that it looks nice. And let me make it a little bit like this one, so it would look great. Now the thing that you have to do is changing the XML code of these fragments, right? So I would remove the other things here, and now I would go to this XML code of the page 1. Now if you come here, go to this split option. Okay, now this is the same default code for fragment that we did for home. So first thing that we did is changing it to constraint layout. I would change it to constraint layout. Then this one, the default text is coming. Delete this one. And now what we want is, I don't want this white color, so I would change this background color to the button color, same as the button color, right? So I would change the background to this one. So, and after that one, what I want is I would add a text view so that we can understand, like, this is the page 1. So I would like to add the text view, then layout width, I will give it wrap content, height also wrap content, and then text, I would add it to page 1. After this page 1, the thing is we would change the text color. I would change it to white, and then we would change the text size. So I would change the text size to 36 sp. It would be bigger one so that it is clearly visible to us. And other thing, I don't think anything is required to change here. So I would give an ID also, text. Okay, text. Now the thing that is left is the constraint. So constraint, I would give it from here itself. So I would give constraint start to start. I would give it parent, and constraint end to end. I would give it parent, and it is now centered from both the sides. Okay. And the last one, I would give a constraint top so that it is being constrained at the top. Constraint top to top of same thing parent. Now it is constrained from all the 3 sides, right? Now the same thing I would be doing, that is I would be adding a back button here, and I would be like centering this text and this back button of the screen. So if you have remembered the previously what we did for our first fragment to center the buttons, I would be doing the same thing, right? So first let me add a back button so that we can like when we will be clicking on this back button, we can simply navigate to our home page, like from where we came to this page, like in apps like you have seen that one, right? So first I would implement a button. I would give button, then in the layout width I would give it wrap content, height I would give 62 dp, and next thing is text. So the text I would give it back simply. The text size I would give it 18 sp, and I
Yeah.
yeah,
Is it possible
Yeah,
to like change the design of the buttons? Like it's all everywhere it's square. Like can we have a round,
you can.
round corners like that?
Yeah, you can simply change that once. For that, I'm telling you what you have to do is, in this drawable folder, you have to create a new XML code like the shape of the button you want, right? Using, there are different properties of shapes, so you can use that one to create buttons of different shapes. Because these are sessions, like we can't expand the time line, so for that case, we are using the simple button that are provided to us. Okay.
Okay.
But like when we use different apps, like we have seen, like there are different buttons, so like that you can create. So what I was telling is this one, right? The buttons. So I would give an ID to this button. ID I would give back so that we can recognize this one. And after this ID, we have the constraints. So I would give constraint start to start parent, and then constraint end to end of same thing parent. And the last thing that we did previously also, that is constraint bottom to bottom, right? Bottom to bottom of parent. So it will come down. And one more thing, Now to make this thing come at center, we would select both the things, that is page 1 and the back button, by coming in the design section. Under the component tree, simply right click on this one, then click on chains. Simply click, we will be creating the vertical chain as I explained you previously. So create vertical chains. Now you can see that it has came like this, having equal space from all the 3 sides. Again, right click on this one, click on chains and select the style, that is packed. So it will come here, right? And now one thing, I would like to change the button color. So I would give background tint black. Black would look good. And one thing I would add is margin top, so that there is a little bit space between the text and the button. So I would add margin top, I would give 20 dp, so it will be a little bit spaced from the top. Okay, now all the things are done for this page. I think we have a back button and we have a text, so that we can go back, and so that to understand, I have given a text view, right? Now for page 2 that we have created, means the page 2 fragment, we would be implementing the same thing, only the text would be different, page 2 will be written there, and the color would be different, right? So I would copy the whole thing of this one, and now I would open this one inside this layout, go to page 2 XML code. Now go to the split section. First change this frame layout to constraint layout, and then remove this code and simply paste that. Now you will see, once you paste this one, you will see errors are coming, right? So to fix this one, simply add one constraint from here and all the things will come up automatically. Like if you like when you paste it, no, it doesn't recognize it. So simply do one constraint, it will recognize all other things. Okay, and the second thing is the background color, right? So I would change the background to the button background only, like the color that we gave for button, I would be simply giving that one. So it has now changed. Go to this text, change this one to page 2, so that we can recognize this one, that this one is page 2. Now anyone having any problem, just tell me, like creating these 2 fragments, just ask me out.
Vijay, can you please show the code for button once more?
Which one? I couldn't catch you.
The button.
This back button,
Yeah.
the code part, right? This one.
Yeah.
We have the ID, then with this wrap content, height is 62 dp, text is back, then we had a margin top to separate it from the text view, then we have given the background tint to change the color of the button to black, then we have a text size 18 sp, and rest other things are like the constraint part that I showed you to do it from here, to keep both the things at the center. So no one are having a problem with this one, so I would move. So now we have created these 2 fragments, right? So now the thing is, if you come to this one, you would see automatically the thing changes out, like what you did in the fragments, it automatically shows up here. Okay, so for page 1 we have this one back button, and page 2 we have this one. Now the most crucial and important thing comes out here is to add the navigation graph. Like as I told you about the navigation graph, one more thing, like I would like to point you out here, that if you open the main activity, means the activity layout code, what you would see, this one is the home page, right? By default, like we haven't set it, but by default this one is the home page. You can change this one by simply coming here. Now you can see there is an icon button home here, there is an icon home icon, right? So this icon means this one is the by default home page, like by default fragment part, which will come like when you run the app without setting anything. Okay, and you can change it simply by, like if you come into this page 1 and if you right click over this one, so you can see there is an option for set as start destination. If you click on this, you will see that home button will come here instead of this one, and if you go to the main activity, you would see page 1 is now coming as the default. Okay, so but we don't want this one, so I would set it to this one only. This is just a point out to show you. Okay, so now coming to that one, that is our navigation graph, right? So let me split this one once so that you can see this one. So here in this XML code, what is there is first is navigation, and inside this navigation, there are three different fragments, right? First is home, its ID is home too. Then we had different things like name and label, and the other two fragments are also there. Now to navigate between them, we use the navigation graph simply, means this one. And to like we want to go from this home page, means from this home fragment to this page one. So we will simply like as like the constraint, you have a button, means a dot round option. Click on this one and simply hover it to the thing like where you want to go. So I would hover it to page one because I want to navigate from this home to page one, right? So if you hover it to the here, this arrow will come up in front of you, and this arrow is a action, like we call it as action. Like if you come into this XML code, there is an action code coming here. Okay, now this action defines that from which fragment you are navigating to which fragment. Like we are navigating from the home fragment to this page one through this action only. Like when we will be clicking on the button, we would call this action with its ID and it will simply transform. Okay, so that is this action part. Now another action we needed from this home page to this page two. So I would just click on this one again and simply take it or hover it over the page two. Now once you do it and remove the mouse button, so it will create an arrow. Okay, so this is the action two. You can see that now other action will come here. Okay, so these are the action through which we actually navigate from pages, means from fragments. Now one thing that is important is the actions ID. Like we require this action ID when we will be calling the on click listener of the button. Like to click on the button, we have a function that is on click listener, which runs out when the button is being clicked, right? So for that we need this ID. So I would be changing this one, giving a meaningful ID. I would write go to page one, because we are going from home to page one. So I am writing is here is as go to page one for this action. Now how would you know like which action you are changing? So you can see this one is blue color and this one is gray. So the present one is always colored as blue. Okay, and once you do it, hit enter. Now this one will come in front of you to refactor, means to rename this one. Click on refactor and it will change. Now I would copy the same and I would go to this one, the second action, and I would paste it here also, and I would change it to page two. And this ID is really important. Like many of you will mess up it and you will get error when we will be working on this page part, means in the home button action part. Okay, so do it, means give it importance a bit. And after changing this, hit enter. This is the basic navigation, like how we actually create our actions to navigate. Now one thing that comes here is implementing these actions. Now we have created the actions but we have not yet implemented. So if you run this app at this point, you can't access. Like if you click on page one, just let it reload. So I will show you. So if it reloads and if you click on page one, nothing happens actually, right? Because we have not defined the action for this button click, but the graph is created for us. So the next thing that comes is implementing the button part. So I would remove all this one from here. Now I would go to here and here. I would go to this package and then home fragment. Okay. Now, as I told you, like here is a lot of boilerplate code which you don't require actually, but they provide it by default. So first of all, let us remove all these codes, right? So see this one carefully, like what you need and what you don't need. So this thing that is companion object, this thing is not required first of all. So select this one and delete it. Then this part, the function on create is also not required because we especially work when the view gets created, and I have showed you in the life cycle also, right? Delete this one also, we don't need this one. And after delete this one, so we have simply the import and the class home fragment, and inside that on create view. Okay, so that is the basic coding part. that is required, and inside this only we will be working. So what is happening here is this function is called on create view, and it is inflating the layout, having the view groups like all the widgets and all that comes inside the view groups, and it is saving that in the bundles. And once the view not equal to, means if the view is being created, then it will enter in this part. Okay, so that is the conditions given here. So now here you can see that in comment it is written inflate the layout for the fragment, right? So what is happening here is it is returning the whole view of the fragment, like it is first there is an inflator, and then it is inflating it, and then it is returning it, right? So the first thing that comes here is adding of view binding. You have implemented view binding in activity, but fragment we have not showed you. So today I would show you, like we are learning the fragment first, right? So today is the first day, so I would show you this one, the implementation of view binding in fragment. So the same thing we have to write as we have written in our activities also. I would write latent var, and then we have to define this one, binding home, and here you have to write that thing, the fragment, because in activities you have written here activity main binding. Like when you are implementing the binding in main activity, then you have written, instead of fragment you have written there activity main binding. So here we have a fragment, so we will be writing fragment home binding. Okay, like this is the process how it works. So I would write fragment home binding, this one. Okay, and once it is done, it will import automatically the binding. And after this one, means this is done. So the next thing that I would do is I would return this remove statement, and I would store this whole view inside a variable. Okay, so for storing it in a variable, I would define a val, means a variable, and I would name it as binding. I would give it equal to sign. Now to implement the fragment, instead of inflator, we have to write this fragment home binding here. Okay, so I would write fragment home binding, and now you can see the error is coming here because we are using view binding, right? So instead of this one, what we have to write is inflator. This inflator we have to write it here. So I would write this one. You can see this inflator, and now it is pretty much good to go with the view binding. And still now there is an error here because of the return statement, like which we deleted first, right? So we have to return the view also. So I would return the view by binding the value we had created, the variable we created, binding dot root. Okay, so this thing means the whole view will be returned. So till now, anyone if having any problem by implementing the view binding, so you can just tell me if you're having any problem. So no one is having any problem, I guess. So yeah, so we have successfully implemented the view binding in our app, right? So the next thing that we are going to do is setting the on click listener on our button. Okay, so to do that, first of all, I would implement the binding dot page one. The page one is the ID of the button that we created. So then page one, then set on click listener, set on click listener, right? So this thing is same, like as we did in activities, the same function we can call it here also. The set on click listener is called in the fragment also. All the things are same, but only this code part is different in fragment. Okay, rest all the things are almost same, like the activities. So inside this on click listener, what we have to do is we have to navigate, right? So to add the navigation, we simply have to write navigation, then we will put a dot, and then we have to put the main page, like in which we are present, like the home page. So we have to pass the home page. So I would write this one, that is find nav controller, and in this nav controller we have to pass the home page, that is our home.kotlin, right? So which is given by binding.root, means this view we have to pass, like in which we are currently present. So I would give here binding.root. Okay, and once we have given this one, then we have to use another method that is navigate. So I would like to add dot navigate. Okay, so now this method takes the parameter of the ID, like the ID of the action. If you have remembered, I told you that in this one, for every actions there is the ID, right? So this ID is required when we navigate. So just simply go here and copy the ID and come back to this file. And in this navigate, simply write r.id dot we go to page 2, go to page 1. Okay, so this is the simple one line code to navigate between one fragment to other. Like if you have used intents, you might know, like we have to create the intent instance first, then we have to implement it. But this navigation is cool, so we can write in a single line. Okay, so if you run this app now, what will happen is you can use this page 1 button. So if I terminate this one, you will see that if I click on page 1, you can go to page 1. And congratulations that you are successfully navigating from one screen to other using the fragments, right? But this back button is not yet working, so I would like go manually. So now I would like to add the same for page 2. If you click on page 2, it won't work. So simply copy this same code, paste it here, change this one ID to page 2 that we have given, and change the binding also, that is page 2 button. And now if you run this one, you can see that page 1, page 2 will work fine. Click on terminate, and if you click on page 2, you can go to page 2, right? So you have created the navigation part successfully using the navigation graph. Now here the things come for the back button. Now the back button is a part of backtrace, which is in the advanced navigation, and I would like to show you that one, right? So for going from this page to this home page, like can anyone just tell me like which action I have to create, like from which screen, I mean from which fragment screen to which fragment screen I have to create to implement this back navigation? Just anyone?
Page
If
1
anyone
to
have,
home 2.
yeah, correct. So you have to simply use this one from this screen to this one. So what will happen is when you click on this one, the action will perform, which will replace this page 1 to home page, right? So he has told correct. So same thing, do it for page 2 also. Do it like this. Okay, so now both the actions are now created. So same thing, rename the IDs. I would change this one from, I would like to change it from page 1 to home. I would copy this one for next time. I would refactor it. Now pop-up will come, refactor it. So it is done. Now go to the next one, paste the same thing and change it from page 1 to page 2. Hit enter, pop-up will come, do it, refactor. Thing is now done. With just simple few clicks, we have implemented another 2 navigations. So that is the power of our navigation graph. So you can understand like why we prefer this one. Okay, so now what you have to do is to implement this action of this back button, we have to work in the page 1 and page 2 Kotlin files, fragment Kotlin files, right? So simply go to page 1. I am closing this project. So now same thing, the boilerplate. First remove this boilerplate, remove this one, remove this one, and remove this one. Okay, now it is good to go. Same thing, let in where first in initializing the view binding, I would write binding. This one is page 1, so I would write page 1, and this one I would change it from fragment page 1. Sorry, fragment page 1 binding. Okay, so it will be imported. Same thing, change this return. First delete this one, convert it into a variable, inside a variable, store that one. I would be writing it binding, give it equal signs, then change this inflator to fragment page binding, fragment page binding, and this one you have to change it to inflator, right? So now view binding is enabled. Return the view, so we will give a return statement, return binding dot root. Okay, so now this code is good to go. Now what we have to do is we have to initialize the back button through view binding, and we will set the same navigation thing, okay, for back tracing. So I would write binding dot back, the id was back, and then again a dot. Set on click listener, same thing, navigation dot find nav controller, same thing, give the view binding dot root, and again one method, navigate, and here you have to pass the id that we have given, that is page 1 to home, right? This was the id I have given for this action. For this action I have given the id, I have copied that one and pasted it here, right? So now let us same thing we would be having for the page 2 also. So I would copy the code inside this one. Now come to page 2, do the same thing, so it will be good to go. Remove the boilerplate first. Then first add the view binding, Latient var binding page 2, in this to fragment page 2 binding. Then in this return, change this one to a variable binding. Okay, sorry, I have copied this one, right? So I would like to paste it here itself. Now change this page 1 binding to page 2. Remember to change it. I have copied this one, so I'm changing it, right? So, and back would be same thing, but this action you have to change it to page 2. I have used this only, right? I guess, yeah, page 2. So now if you run this app, it would be having the back button functionality too. So let me run this one. Terminate this one. And now if you click on page 1, it is going to page 1, and if you click on back, it is coming back, right? So you have successfully implemented the backtracking also. Page 2, let us check, go to back, yeah, it's going back. One thing I would like to tell you, that is you can also add awesome animations in this one. So let us just see like how to add animations also. So animations is basically created using this action only. So click on this action, then here in the attributes section you can get the animation. Enter animation is here. Click on this symbol, like after this box there is a small rectangular line type. Click on that one. This will pop up in front of you, and here there are different animations that you can select. Now I would select fade in because I like this one. Once you select this one, click on OK. Okay, and this one will be imported. So let us do for other actions also. Click on this one, click on fade in, click on OK. And for the backtracking, the exit, I would select the exit animation. Okay, click on the same thing. I would write fade out, click on OK. Do the same for last one, exit animation, click on fade out. So you can simply implement the animations like in this manner without writing too much of coding for animations. You can do it like this. So if I rerun it, you would be now able to see the animation. Let me terminate this one, let it run. So if you click on page 1, you can see a fade in animation, and if you click on back, a fade out animation, right? So this thing looks good. There are other animations also, you can add it. Now the navigation with fragments is almost done, and this much is for the navigation. Now any one of you are having any error, means having any problem, just you can tell. So if no one is having any error, so what is your task is go to the course section, see what they are trying to tell you, like what are the apps they are telling you, and after reading those stuffs, like give out the quiz for this one, introduction to navigation component. And once you take this quiz, then you would earn a badge if you do the things correctly, right? So after this thing, the thing that comes out here is introduction to architectural components. Now we have implemented the fragments and navigational components, and after that the thing comes is architectural components. And in this architectural components we have view model, like I would be telling you about view model. So let us try to understand first what is a view model. So view model is basically you can say it as a class which we implement. So if you have remembered previously using activities or fragments, what we simply used is we had only two things, that is our layout XML file, and the other thing was the Kotlin file, the activity Kotlin file or the fragment Kotlin file, right? And we had written all our uh, our algorithms or our coding part. We have done all the things like initializing variables, putting datas, all the things we have done in that only, like on the on create or on create view. So we have implemented all the stuffs there only, right? But as I told you, like in fragments lifecycle, or take the example of activity lifecycle, when you rotate your phone, the thing that happens is it re-enters into the starting state. Like you can see in this diagram, like activity is created, and after that, if the activity is rotated, like you have changed the orientation from portrait to landscape, then what the thing happens is on pause works first, then on stop, and then on destroy, and again it enters into the on create. And what happens here, all the data reinitializes. Like taking an example, if I say, like if you have seen YouTube, right? So if you have load means open the YouTube app, then all the data are loaded, like all the videos are loaded one by one. And now if you rotate your mobile, like you have changed the orientation, you have rotated it. So if you have not used view model, so what will happen is all the data that is loaded, it will load again and means again all the things will work. So for users, that might be not satisfactionable thing. Like if you have loaded the data one time and if you are changing it, the orientation, it will load again, it will take the data internet again and again, right? So that is not a preferable way. So we use a higher level thing, that is view model. And also in the later part you would be learning about implementing live data with view model, and MVVM will be explained in other sessions. Okay. That is the advantage of view model. Like view model, what is the thing is, like view model has a separate life cycle, irrespective of the activity or fragments life cycle. Now in this view model life cycle, you can implement the all the coding part or the algorithm part or fetching the data part in the view model, right? And you can simply use that view model class in that activity or the fragment. So what will happen is, if you see this diagram, when the activity gets rotated, the view model remains same. Like once the data is loaded for YouTube, the data remains constant. Like the data doesn't reloads again, right? So the data remains constant, like anything happens till the activity gets finished. So that is the life cycle of view model, and because of its this life cycle, like it doesn't destroys or anything happens in between, so we preferably use our view model. Okay. So anyone having any doubt, like in the view model, so you can ask. So
Yeah, so the means how it works, like if I'm in portrait mode, then we are converting in the landscape mode. The XML file will change, everything will change, and how it means manages to keep the same and doesn't face any data.
yeah, because view model has a separate class and it does not depends on the activity. The activity lifecycle changes like when you rotate your phone, but view model remain constant. Like it is being initialized once the activity starts, and it only destroys or it only gets cleared when the activity ends. And in the rest of the part, it remains same because it has a separate lifecycle and has a separate class. So it doesn't affects, like, so it remain constant. That was your doubt, right? I guess.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay, so it is now clear, right? So now let us see the advantages of view model. So the main advantages of view model are like view model can survive the orientation change that I have told you, like rotating your phone layout. Okay, so that was the first benefit. It can survive in that one. And then the other advantage is like you can have a separate code for your algorithm part and for your UI. Like you can use all the like initializing the widget part, you can do it in the activity, and the coding part or the algorithms like which you want to implement or getting data from internet, you can write it in a separate code, that is the separate view model class. So it would be like better, like you can understand it, like the coding part and the all the data initializing part and all the widget part in one thing, that is the UI part, right? So that is also an advantage, you can separate them. So you would have three classes, means two classes, Kotlin classes, and one layout XML file for single screen, okay, or a single fragment. Then other thing is like you can have the same view model for other fragments also. Like you created a view model to enter or to store username or user data, and you can use the same view model class in other place or other activities or fragments where you want the same thing, like to store the username or user data. So these are the advantages that view model provides us. And here also there is a diagram, you can say this one, right? Now I won't be showing you implementation of view model because of the time shortage of today. So, and in this session, like in other sessions also, it won't be shown you. Only MVVM structure would be shown you, and implementing view model with live data would be shown you. Okay. So after this, for you, the thing is, go to the course, see what they are trying to tell you, means what they are telling you. There are app for a game, I guess. I can't remember. There is an app for game, I think, which they have showed you for this architectural component. Try to build that one, and if you're having like facing any problems, join our public Discord, and you can share it there, and we all, our team, are there to help you out, right? So after that thing, once you have gone through that one and it is clear, give the quiz for this architectural component, and you will earn this badge if you do it correctly. Okay. So after this thing, the most important thing and the craziest thing that comes out here is the bottom navigation bar. So let me clear it first, because bottom navigation is not showed in the course by the Google, but I would be showing this one because this one is a cool stuff. Like the apps you use in YouTube or Instagram, they have the bottom navigation bar, right? So I would be showing you this bottom navigation bar. So first, bottom navigation bar looks like this one, that is that appears at the bottom of the screen. And bottom navigation is like thought as a top level navigation, which gives the user a sophisticated, delightful navigation from one screen to other. Like if you take the example of Instagram, there are 5 bottom navigation, and there are like the feed one, then there is a search, then there is a profile and upload and all the things, right? So that is basically a bottom navigation bar, and we like that thing, especially like for YouTube also, because user like these things, we implement this type of things, right? So bottom navigation is a cool stuff, so we would be implementing that in our app in the live. So let us jump into the live demo to implement the bottom navigation bar into the app, and it would be clear like once we implement that one. Okay, so this was the previous code for the navigation, right? I would be implementing the bottom navigation bar using navgraph, and the same code, means in this app only I would be implementing it, right? So first of all, remove all this one. Okay, go to the project section now. First of all, what we have to do is like in bottom navigation bar, one more thing. Like there are different menu options. Like in like in Instagram, there are feeds, there are search, there are profile, which come at the bottom, and with names also, right? So that is called a menu, means that is known as menu in bottom navigation bar. So first I would like to create the menu part so that it is understandable. Yeah, so to create the menu, go to the resource and right click on this resource, then click on new, and to create the menu resource file, click on Android resource file. Then come in this Android resource file, the name, give it to, like I would be giving it bottom nav. Okay, and after this one, you have to change this resource type. Now by default it is values, change this one to menu. Okay, so only you can implement that one. So click on OK. Now you will see that a new folder menu will come in front of you in this resource manager. Okay, and there is a bottom nav.xml file. Now let me split this one. Okay, so this is the thing. Now here we have items, and in that items we specially define those things like what we want in our bottom navigation or in other menu options, right? So first thing I would like to do is implementing the icons. Like you have seen in Instagram, there are different icons for search, then for home. So first I would like to implement that thing, right? Previously in the previous session you were shown how to implement it, but you were not showed like lively how to implement it. You were only just told about that thing. So to import icons, go in this drawable part, right click on this drawable, click on this new, then you have to go to this vector assets to use, means to import any of the icons. Go to vector assets, click on this one. So by default, this one is the Android icon. Click on this clip art. Now here is the search icon. Means there here is a search bar. So search for home, because we have named our first activity as home. So I would be implementing home. So click on select this one, click on OK. It will come. Now change. I would change this color to white. And this is the text size, means the size of the icon, that is 24 dp by 24 dp. And once this is done, click on next and click on finish. So what will happen is, here you can see that home button will come. So someone is having some doubt, I guess. Let me check that one first. Yeah, I am showing that one. So to upload the icon, simply right click here, click on this new, then go to this same vector assets. Here we have selected clip art. Okay, so change this one to local. Now here you can select your folder where you have the icon, like if you have downloaded the icon, that you can find, and you can select that one. But I am using the default icons that are provided by the material icons of Google. So I am selecting from this clip art itself. Okay, so I would create other icons. So other icons, just wait. Yeah, other icons, I would like to create the search. Click on search. This one I would like to implement. Click on OK, same white color. Click on next, click on finish. So the search will also come. Then after that, do the same thing for other one. I would like one more thing, that is account circle, this one. So click on OK, next, finish. So now we have 3 different icons, right? Now we have to implement these icons in our bottom navigation. Now I would like to create the items that I want in that bottom navigation bar. So to create the new items, I would write this one item. Then I would like to give the title, that is the title of our, means which is the name of our menu. So it would be like title, and I would give it home. And here this side you can see that home is coming here in this menu option. Then one more thing that you have to give is uh, that one is the icon, right? Icon I told. So icon, select this one and set this one as home. This one, home icon. Now the home icon won't be visible in here, because once you implement this one in the bottom navigation, then only it will be visible to you. Now one more thing is there, that is the ID, and this ID needs to be same, because we are doing through this navigation graph, right? So this ID part, remember this thing very clearly, that this ID, we have an attribute that is ID. This ID needs to be same that is in the navigation graph ID. Like here we have the home as the ID. If you click on this one, the ID is home 2. So simply copy this home 2, simply click on, means come back here and paste it here. Like it would be like implementing in such a way, like when you click on this menu item, it would take you to this home page, like the home 2. Okay, and let us just create the other 2 fragments also for our other 2 menu files, that is settings and search and the profile, right? So let me create the other 2. Create new, next, I would name this one search, finish. So search has came. Do the same thing for one more, that is profile. Create this one, click on next, change this one to profile, click on finish. It will come, right? So now you have the IDs that for search we have this ID as search. So I would be like to create another items. So we had created our first item, that is home, right, for our bottom navigation. Now let us create the other 2 items. So copy this one, paste this one. So one more item has been created. Now change this ID first. I would change it to search. Then this one, the title, I would change it to search, and this drawable icon also I would change it to search. Okay, now copy the same thing, paste it here for one more time, that is for our profile. So I would Let me just see what I have given here, the ID. Copy that one, come back here, paste it here, profile. Okay, change this text to profile. And after that, this drawable, the drawable was account, I think. So yeah, account circle. Now it would be done. So this is how we define the menu items. Now when we will be implementing the bottom navigation bar, you would see all the three items will come in the bottom navigation bar and all will be equally spaced. Okay, so just let's implement that one. So come into this layout part, then in the activity main, sorry, this one, activity main XML code. And nav, bottom nav. So material bottom navigation will come. Okay, so now the layout width, give it match parent, as I want to be like to take the whole screen, and height, give it wrap content. Okay, so now you can see that there is a white color thing coming up here, right? So that is the bottom navigation bar. So now I want this thing to come at the bottom, so I will give a constraint so that it comes bottom. So simply drag and drop this constraint from here to bottom, give the constraint from both the sides. Wait, what is happening? Yeah, you can give it from here also. Constraint start to start, parent, constraint end to end, give it parent. So now it would be like having the constraint from both the sides. So bottom navigation is now done, but it is not visible. So I would like to change the color of this bottom navigation bar. So I would change the color. So background tint, I would give it purple, this one. Not background tint, background. Okay, so now you think, so now it is visible. So you can see that bottom navigation color has been changed to violet. Okay, so now you can see that there are no menus like we have in YouTube, but here it is not coming, right? So we have to import this menu XML file. So to do that, we have an attribute that is menu, this one, app menu. Okay, and in this menu, if you click here, you can see that is bottom nav that we created, that is coming. So simply click on this one, and once you click on this one, you can see that all the things are coming here, but it is not clearly visible because the color. So I will change the color. So to change the icon color, we have to write icon tint color, item icon tint. I would give it white. So you can see the icons are changed to white. And to change the text, I would write icon text color, and I would change it to white. So it would change to white. Okay. So that is the thing, like to implement a bottom navigation bar. But the thing is, if I run this one now, you can't navigate actually, because we have not written the code in the main activity to use this bottom navigation bar. So I would be just showing you in a minute for that code. So if the app runs now, you can see that there is a cool bottom navigation bar coming in front of you in the app. If you click on this icons, it is not working now. Okay, so we have to implement the functionality. But first, if you come in this navigation, we have to change the screens also, right? So that we can understand we are in which screen. So I would like to change the screen first. So fragment profile screen, I will come here. Let me minimize this one. Okay. Now the same default fragment code. So change this one to constraint layout. Constraint layout. Remove the boilerplate. So I would like to first let me change the background. I am not liking this background white. So I would change this background to something different. So I would write background. I would give this one. This color is looking good. Now we means I would be adding a simple text view so that you can understand like you are in which screen. So to show you, so I would write text view. That is, I would give wrap content, same thing, wrap content, then text. I would give it profile screen. And after this one, let me make it bigger. So I would give text size 36 sp. And the last one is text color. Text color, I would give it white. And This is good to go, I think. Let us give the constraint so that it comes center. So I would give the constraint layout height. It has changed. Let me make it wrap content again. Wrap content. So this is like the part like where the error comes. Like if you try to do the constraint from here, or if you try to change it from here, the things come up here. Like in a slightly mistake, if you do slight mistake, then things pop up here. So I don't prefer this method. Simply write the code here. Okay, so now it is at the center. Okay, so I would copy the same text view because we have the same screen, that is our search screen. So for this search screen, I would split this one. I would first change this frame layout again to constraint layout, right? And this default code, I would paste this one, the text view. I would change the background also here. So the background color, I would like to give this one. And this one first, let me change it to search screen, and the constraint is showing error. Simply drag one and it will automatically come, right? So now these are the two screens which we have already designed successfully. If you come here, you can see that thing is now coming perfectly. In the navigation graph, you have this home search profile, right? But still we have not implemented the functionality of the bottom navigation. So let's just implement that one so that we can successfully use our bottom navigation, right? So close all of them. Sorry, go to this one, Java, this one, the package file folder, go to the main activity, right? So now in this main activity, first we will be implementing the same thing, that is view binding. So I would like to add the view binding, latent where binding, then same thing, that is this one is activity view binding. So I would write activity main binding. Okay, and now here what you have to do is create a variable with binding, and you have to pass the means you have to store the activity main binding dot inflator inflate, and we have to pass layout inflator. Okay, so now view binding is initialized, and instead of this one passing the r dot layout dot activity main, we would be simply passing the binding dot root, and this thing is already explained in the previous session by Satyajit Bhai, right? So now this one is done for view binding. Okay, so now we would be implementing the main thing, that is our bottom navigation, right? So for bottom navigation, first let us try to understand one thing. Now to add a bottom navigation, if you come into this main activity main, this one. So now we have the nav host, right? As I told you, like which act as a container first of all. So this nav host fragment, we need to change inside this fragment part. Without changing anything else, we need to simply change the fragment, like what is coming inside this container. So first we have to initialize this nav host in this main activity, right? So I would write a val, then I would give nav host, and here what we have to define is that one, the navigation controller that we had, not navigation controller, the navigation host. So I would write support fragment manager and dot find fragment by id. So in here what we have to do is we have to pass this one, the container view, and its id is this one. So I would copy this one and I would come here and paste it as r.id dot this one. So here we have to pass the nav host, and one thing we have to write here is as nav host fragment, because we are storing the inside this variable as the nav host fragment by initializing it here. Okay, and after this thing we have our nav host, right? So the next thing that we have to put is our navigation controller. So sorry, for navigation controller what you have to do is write a val, define a variable, that is nav controller, And here you have to write the nav host dot a simple line of code nav controller, and that's it. You have set up your nav controller, right? Means this thing is storing the controller of this nav host. Okay, and now by writing another one line of code, you would be able to implement the bottom navigation bar. So first I would like to initialize the bottom navigation bar. So I would like binding dot. Okay, so one thing that I have missed is giving the id to this bottom navigation bar, right? So I would like to give the id here, and I will write bottom nav, right? Come back here, do it here, bottom nav. Then we have to simply set a nav controller. So I would write here setup. The method I would write here is setup with nav controller. This one, setup with nav controller. Click on, hit the enter, so it will call the function for this one, setup with nav controller. And here we have to pass the parameter, that is our nav controller that we have defined here. So this nav controller, we have to pass it in the bottom navigation bar. So I would write nav controller. And once you write this one, you are ready to go for your bottom navigation, right? So let us run this one and let's just see that is it working or not. Let me expand it. Yeah. So let it run. Let me terminate it. And once it opens up, and if you click on this search, you can simply go to the search screen. So by writing simply 3 lines of code, you can implement your bottom navigation bar, and that is the power of the navigation graph and nav controller inside the Jetpack library. So you can navigate in this one, search screen, profile screen, home screen. And if you click on this page one also, you can navigate to the other fragment, and clicking on back, you will come back. Page 2, you can come here and back. So that is the app for today. And now if you're having any problem with this bottom navigation bar, you can just ask me out. Like anyone having any problem, just tell me. Have you created the bottom navigation bar? Just confirm me once. So I guess there is no problem with this one. So let me move into the PPT part. So now our live demo is done. So now future proceedings. Now in this session, we have created a lot of things, lot of stuffs. So practice it and see the course and earn the badges from there. So in future proceedings, what we have is our next session. So for you, what you have to do is complete unit 1, unit 2, and unit 3. Okay, just complete this whole thing. And next session is going to be on Android basics, core routine, and connect to the internet, which is on 27th of December. Okay, and you are having a gap in between them. So because of your midterm exams, right? And one more thing that I forgot to mention at the beginning, like those who have not yet submitted the previous form badges, you have the time till today night at 12 a.m. Submit the form will be open till 12 a.m. So those who have not done, just complete it and submit it by today. Okay. And now I would like Satyajit Bhaiya to take over me and explain the announcements that you are waiting for.
Bhaiya, just a minute. Can you again show me main activity.kt?
Main activity, wait. This one.
Bhaiya, it's not visible actually. I think you have presented that. Yeah.
You can
Yeah,
see
yeah,
now.
got it. Yeah.
Okay. If you are done, then tell me. So I will move into the PPT.
Yeah, I am done. I am done. A simple variable I
Okay.
was displayed.
Yes, Satyajit Bhai, you can take over me and explain the announcements.
Okay, thank you, Rishav. And thank you everyone for waiting patiently for me. And can I see the screen, the next screen?
This one I have gone into the next screen.
All right. So, today we will be making two major announcements today. The first one is that for the next phase, after we complete, we will do something parallelly. Everyone has to submit an application, and we will be giving you the guidelines and the what are the requirements of the application in the next few days. And also we have also delighted to announce that we have collaborated with KIIT Hack Club to get you guys some goodies for all your hard work for this month-long event. Can you go to the next page?
Yes.
All right. So this is just one part of the application that you have to make. Like there are three different categories from which everyone has to create an application. Just look at it. Like if you have any problem, just you any doubts or anything like that, you can ask me right now. So the first category would be a college or an university app. The second would be a community application, and the third would be a private or an individual solution app. So all these three categories have different descriptions, and for keeping in mind that everyone here doesn't get in a competition way. So what we'll do is the constraints are simple. Uh, the application has to be simple. It doesn't have to be very complex. It just has to be a simple, intuitive design with a simple interface application, and it has to be created within the timeline of our event. The further guidelines would be definitely be provided to you in the next few days. Does anyone have any doubt in this part in this page? Like if you can go through it, then you can just ask me right now. All right. If you do not have any doubts regarding the categories, then in the next page, can you go to the next page? So here are what the winning categories will look like. We'll have a first prize winner and the criteria would be that okay, for the app making competition. One thing, let me make one thing clear, that this can be a group event if you want to. Like if you want to be create the application in a team, you can be in a team of three, not more than three, and or you can do it as an individual. It's completely up to you. Like how do you want to do it? But for the first prize, for the first prize, the criteria is that you will have to complete all 16 badges and submit an application according to the guidelines that will be provided to you, and that application will be sent to Google by us, which will get a chance to get featured on our on Google's official social media handles. Followed by that would be the runner-up prize. Again, the criteria is the same. That the team or the individual has to collect all 16 badges in the entire Kotlin Basics course, and also they have to submit an application. And also for the third category, if there are participants who have completed till Unit 4, we have right now we have not got to Unit 4. After today, you guys were instructed that you can complete till Unit 3, right? So till Unit 3, you guys are done. You can start collecting badges right now. And but if you have completed till Unit 3, Unit 4, and collected at least 13 badges, then you will be eligible to get rewards in the third category. Going to the next page. So here are some important dates. The next session would be on 27th, keeping in mind your exams, and we guys thought of giving you a break after such a long hassle. So the next session will be on 27th. Also, for the next Google form, the last Google form that was sent to you would be closed on today midnight. And the next form will be given out on 27th. That is a week after today. Also, the last date to submit an application would be 8th January. You guys can start planning your application, creating your team. It's completely up to you. But the last date to submit the application would be 8th January, and winners will be announced on 10th January. The detailed description of how the application should be, the app guidelines, and everything else that you need to know about making that application will be provided to you in a doc in our public Discord channel. So it will be provided to you in 1 or 2 days, and so make sure that you are a part of our Discord server so that you don't miss it out. Also, we'll be sending you a link for that in the next session, so don't worry about that. So after this, if you have any questions regarding this, you can ask me now. Like, are there any questions regarding the application submission part?
Is we have to complete more than 4 units to get 16 batches.
Yes.
No, it's like if you complete complete till unit 4, then and if you don't continue further, then you will be only getting rewards in the third, like for the third category. But if you complete all 16 badges, like till unit 4, there are 13 badges, right? So if you collect extra 3 and then you submit an application, so there are 2 categories for that. Like the first winner, the application that
Means,
will be sent.
extra 3, that means we have to go more further, right?
Yes, you'll have to
And
go.
like if we are in a team of 3, so all the 3 members should have 16 batches.
Yeah, precisely.
Regarding the application, like we'll be submitting the format of the app, or we have to submit the app by 8th.
Okay, so there are a few guidelines for that. As I said, I'll send the detail. Like in a small PPT, it was hard to tell you all the description, but in a brief, the application has to be made in Kotlin. That was obvious, I guess. It has to be made in the timeline or during an event. Like it cannot be something like you have created the application earlier and you're just giving it an update right now. So we won't accept that. For the application submission part, you will have to create an application. It's optional for you if you want to create a developer profile, a Google Console developer profile, and upload the app on Play Store. It's not required, but you should the application should be in a open source. Like in GitHub, you have to publish it, and we'll check out that link. You'll also have to give a one-pager document of how the application works along with a screenshot, and all those details will be provided to you in the Discord server. I'll send you a doc, and there everything will be clear. Do you have like any specific doubts regarding the application?
Are we competing among the kid students, or there are other college students too?
For me, like if for me you are competing, like from us, the application that will be sent by us, that will be in competition with the kit. Along with that, it will be inter college, but the application which will be featured in Google, that is up to them. That is not up to us. So the app, but
No,
the
no.
application,
The first prize will be gone to, like it's inter college.
yeah. So it's nothing like that. Even if your application doesn't get featured in Google's page, it doesn't matter, because if I am sending that application to Google, that means you'll be getting the first prize. Does anyone have any more questions?
You talked about some goodies and kid.
Yeah, everything will be given out to you later. Like it will be disclosed to you later, but you will definitely be getting some goodies. You don't have to worry about that. For now, all you need to know, like you have to prepare for an application. You can start creating ideas. You can start creating a team. You can just start with the ideation process. We are also not completed with our sessions. Along with that, you can keep building an application of your own. I already told you the 3 categories, which like you have to fulfill any one of them. and we'll be giving you some time now. Like after today, the next session will be directly on 27th. So you will be getting some time. I suggest go through that course, start collecting the badges and completing the like completing the activities or the pathways. Like I guess after today, you can complete till unit 3. Like you can complete it whole, but try to understand, get some badges, and today's Google form. Yeah, today I didn't submit a Google form. Like it's still the same Google form as the last time. If you need the link, I can send you right now. Or
No,
Rishabh,
I
can you
was
send
just
that
asking.
link?
Yeah, I'm setting it.
Yeah,
No, I have submitted. I was just asking about.
it's okay. Also, regarding today's coding, if you need to see the source code, we have it on
Uh,
GitHub. Rishabh will
yeah,
send it
I'm
in
pasting
the
it.
chat box.
Yeah.
From here, you can directly look at the source code of today's application.
Like if you're having any problem with this, like in your coding part, so you can take the reference of this one through the GitHub.
Exactly. So, does anyone have any questions? If not, then we'll end today's session right here, and we'll meet you after 1 week. But within 1 to 2 days, I'll send you the Google Doc containing all the descriptions and in detail, like how to submit an application, how, in what format do you have to submit it, and all the deadlines and everything. All right. So I'm ending today's session. Thank you, guys.